Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of PORANA Motorsports. This episode's going to be a little bit different. So if you didn't gather by the sarcasm in the intro, this episode we're going to go through what it is and what it takes to build you a diff for your Burnout car. Or, if you want to drive around in a welded or minispooled diff on the street, well, that's up to you, but this is going to help you out. So what we got here is a stock, and you can see here, cast number is a 76, so it's an M76 out of a V6 Commodore. And this one is an open center, so as you can see, we spin one way, the other one goes the opposite. So that is open center. If they both go the same direction, then it's got a problem. So in this episode, Dad is taking the reins while I'm going to go over there and change diffs, etc. out of the other cars. He is going to run through disassembling a diff.
No disassemble! Where are you going?
So this is exactly the same for both an M76 and an M80. So the M76 is the V6 diff, M80 is the V8 diff, and you can, like I said, you can tell by spinning the shafts one wheel only, and usually it's got a tag over here and it says LSD on it otherwise. So obviously dealing with an LSD is going to be a little bit more difficult to weld up. There's a lot more process involved in welding an LSD diff up because you've got a lot of cast bits inside which don't tend to like very well welding a lot. But what we're going to do is we're going to run through both exercises in this diff. Being an open center, we're going to change diff ratios from the current 308 over to a 3.9, and we're going to weld this diff. And we're also going to show you how to install a mini spool. So if you've got, we happen to be doing both at the moment. So you can follow along. If you're welding or mini spooling, you'll find out how to do that in this episode with Dad in charge. So he's going to pull the back cover off, give this thing a clean up, and while it still has the 308 diff gears in it, we're going to give it a weld up, and he'll show you how to weld the inside of this up, and then we can pull it apart and change over some diff ratios. Alright, let's get it apart.
Bloody batteries. That was tight for just being stuck on there. Somebody bolted that up bloody tight. Half just sitting there. Rusty looking devils. Might need a bloody hand to bloody unscrew these bastards too. Keep doing the diff size to bloody make up a bloody spinner. Drop it straight there, okay. Good shot. Fucking long I've been in there forever. Since dot. Jesus Christ, Dad, get hold of it. Oh, Jesus. They are tight.
Yeah. This has been together for a while.
Yeah, since it was built.
Now, that is not how it usually is.
Not usually that tight.
That's what she said.
But sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
You've got smells all around here.
So you've got the two cones on the outside here. That's what sets the preload and everything on your diff. This diff happens to have not been in a car for quite some time. So it's not normal that they're that tight, like at all. Like I've pulled a lot of diffs out and never have they been that tight. So I'm sure there's going to be some guys on here that are going to say, oh, I pulled them out, they're that tight all the time. Well, none that I've come across. So Dad just made up a tool, and there's always plenty of tools around here. Some are of the human variety, some are not. That was able to get some leverage on it because just doing it, which is this way here, a couple of screwdrivers,
Wasn't even budging.
twisting against each other, didn't even do a thing, so that was not going to work. There it is there, you can see the splines. It's got a rubber seal and a bearing on the inside, and it's got a cone, sits against the inner bearing and sets a preload on it. So we'll run through all of that when it goes back together. But as you can see, there it is there. The guts has come out. There's 0575, which is exactly the same as the gears that we've got, but this one says 3.08, and the ones that are going to go in it say 3.89. So
Going back in.
I need to tap that back off. Alright, and that's a 4-bolt, well, it's got 6 holes in it, but it's a 4-bolt flange off of an early VT Series 1 tail shaft. Which is what we're actually changing over to, because they tend to be a lot more of a... Look, they're a little bit more rougher on the road because you've got solid surfaces in uni joints, but of course uni joints have been in tail shafts for hundreds of years, or 100 years, so that's not really an issue. And they were in the early VSs and stuff, but that's not really a problem either. So, but they're just a little bit more reliable for the pounding that we give them versus the rubber donut that comes on the VX ones. So we'll explain that when we put the diff inside the car. Yeah, you can see the rubber donuts actually weren't looking too bad prior to Chloe's skid on the weekend, and just after one skid they're looking, or 2 skids, they're looking quite cracked up and average. So yeah, and that's normal. I mean, they're getting old. So not only and then those rubber donuts flex. Hang on, I'll get you a rubber donut. I've got one here. Here it is. These rubber donuts. This is the rubber donut. They flex and move, and then they crack, and then your tail shaft tends to move, which claps out your center bearing. So what we find is swapping over to the uni joint style and deleting this one, not only does it help with longevity because the uni joints are a lot more tougher than what a rubber donut is, but it tends to keep the center bearing alive a lot longer. So and for what we're doing with it, well, this is what we need. So that's your rubber donut, which is what we're going to be getting rid of. Cool. So that's it. That's the main tear down of the diff housing. Now it's going to come down to the center, which is where we're going to either weld or put a mini spool in. So Dad's just went and grabbed the new gears. It's got a new pinion and a pinion and ring. So
yeah, it's got a pinion all of its own.
Yeah, it's got a good pinion. It's gonna need a good clean. Been kicking around in his shed for a while.
Scare them up a bit, get the surface rust off them.
So, and these are all left-hand threads.
Oh yeah.
So.
Look the same anyway.
Yep. Cool. Just no wheelie on the end.
Yeah. That's what we want.
And yeah, so Dad just lined up the two pinions. The difference between the do you want to grab me that pinion, Dad? The difference between the two, basically nothing in construction, everything right up to the end of the threads, but it has this little
dick on the end.
It's a little dick on the end, which is a locator for the tail shaft with the rubber donut. So, and you need that, otherwise your tail shaft doesn't locate and it just vibrates around everywhere. So,
that is knackered.
is it?
You have to pull it off. Pull the one off that and put it on here.
Yeah. Hopefully it comes off in one piece. That won't free up and clean up, you reckon? Let's clean it, freeing up slowly. Is it gritty though?
Very.
It's been sitting in his shed for years.
Some sand.
It might clean out.
Give it a grease and just see how it goes.
Yeah.
The rollers don't look too crash up.
No. Oh, they're a bit pitted. So we might have to change over the pinion bearing with the one that come off the diff that was just coming out of here.
Well, at least that'll match the cone in there.
Yep. So that might be the go. So I need a press to get them off, which we do have, so we'll run through that when we get there. Cool. All right, well, this is the point where housing comes out of the way and it's down to taking gears off and cleaning, and then we're going to weld this center up. So Dad will run through where to weld and what to weld. Alrighty, well Dad's got the center all pulled apart, cleaned, the ratios are off, the pinion and ring are, or the ring's off. So as you can see here, you've got your big pins that go through, and then you've got pins here, so they punch out and you can separate the two. Spider gears come out, etc, etc. But we'll go through that when we go into the other barn with the mini spool. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to roll it around until we find a window. Boom, there it is. And as you can see in there, that is filled full of spider gears, and that's what allows everything to spin freely. So what we do is we get in here and we fill that full of lots of these things, welding rods. So Dad's about to embark on a journey of no return and fill that and that one full of weld. Alrighty. Alrighty. Well, there's a whole heap of welding rod in there, and that is not coming out anytime soon. So we'll let that cool down, and then we can start reassembly with some new diff gears.
I just washed out that housing, let it dry out. I can put the crown wheel pinion on this thing. So crown wheel on it.
If you're going to put that together, I'll turn this back on. If you're going to put that together, I'll turn this thing back on. Oh, it's actually been on the whole time. Yep. Alright.
After all this.
Yeah. Alright, 50,000 cars drive past all at the same time, but so we had an issue yesterday with these particular gears. Have a smaller thread size on the pinion, so all the nuts that we had didn't fit, which doesn't surprise us. We had one of those days yesterday where nothing worked. So thanks very much to Adrian. He got us a nut. He must have had one at home. It might be a Ford one, I think. I've got a funny feeling it's a Ford one. Anyway, so Dad's put the gears on. We would have had that in the video. He put the gears on the center that was welded up, and now he's just putting it back together. So we'll slot these in and get these tightened up, set our preloads, put the cover back on, stick some oil in it, and get it in the car. This one's ready to go. Well, with the Diff in it anyway. Alright, get these on. Well, after some adjustments, it has oil in it, and we're just putting the top on, or the backing, cover, whichever way you want to call it. So make sure we line these things up so that it holds the bearings from moving anywhere, or the cones. And it's ready to go in the car. Well, that's a complete Diff. The last thing that you need to class it as rebuilt is an Australian can of Rebuild Black. So we'll finish her off professionally. Vice grips. Yeah, Rebuild Black. Oh, look at that, it's got a new bush at the back, new rubber. Yep, didn't you see? I just installed a new rubber on the back. Yep. Yep. Alright. There it is, all all rebuilt from the top end. Needs to flip her over. And get it from the other side. Dry enough to flip it over. You need to get a wet in there. Maybe we'll leave it for a minute. Okay. Alright, come back in a sec. I don't think it's relevant. Look at that. Fuck. That's amazing. We could sell this for $1,000 now.
39.
Well, I think that's.
Okay.
I think that's going to be enough.
Paint anyway. Too much paint, it won't dry
Yeah.
quick enough.
All right, job done. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that finally brings us to the end of a YouTube video that we've been trying to film for quite some time. So I'm gonna whack it back in the car, but this episode wasn't about how to put a diff in a car, it was how to weld one up. It was meant to be a minispool, but I'm sure you can grasp the concept considering we couldn't get the shafts out of the other diff and etc, etc. So minispool's basically exactly the same. Punch those pins out like I said, pull the center apart, take the spider gears out, put it in, put the pins back in, job done. Alrighty, well thank you very much for watching this episode of PORANA Motorsports, and hopefully it was not as painful as for you as it was for us. If you haven't yet, please like, share, comment, subscribe and all that sort of stuff, and we'll see you on the next episode, not too far from now.